Hello, welcome to another product demonstration segment from GRA Services. Today our focus is on utility pole foam. That's high density, two-component expanding foam that is used to set utility poles. Now there are a number of suppliers in the industry, and from time to time our customers ask us if we have a comparison between the performance of products supplied by other companies and ours. And ours is Secure Set. It's a two-component high-density foam, and the product that we're concentrating on today is made by a company called BMK. Their product name is Polecrete, and we will do an intro here basically talking about the characteristics, the specifics of the product, but then we will actually do a sample of it, because one of the most important things that is derived from the use of this foam is its ability to expand and to fill the void that is around the base of the pole, and to do it economically. But before we get to that, there are three characteristics of the foam that are very important. Number one is the density. How dense is the foam when it has reached its final set? And in order for the foam to have the properties that are called for in the utility industry, normally that density has to be about 4 to 5 pounds per cubic foot. Now Secure Set, by virtue of independent testing, our foam reaches a product density of 5.3 pounds per cubic feet. Now BMK, by virtue of information that is publicly available on their website, their density is 5.0 plus or minus 0.2. So basically the same. So by virtue of density comparison, the products are virtually identical. Second one is compressive strength. Compressive strength is important because that is the ability for the foam to resist the bending moment that is on the pole when you get a high wind load. And so the higher the compression of the compressive strength of the foam, the more resistance it has to the bending moment that is applied at the ground line. Secure Set, by virtue of third-party independent testing, has a compressive strength of 103.5 psi. Again, by information available on publicly available on their website, BMK is 80 psi. Now that doesn't necessarily mean that it is less capable. It means that it meets or exceeds the industry standard, which says that all pole foams have to have at least 70 psi. So both these products meet or exceed the requirement set forth by the industry. Third component, which is important, is expansion. 18 to 1 is the expansion that we get out of Secure Set, which basically means if you mix up 1 gallon of Secure Set, once it reacts, it will expand to make 18 gallons of foam. Now, that information is not available on their website, but I know that through experience, their product expands somewhere between 15 to 18 to 1. And that's what we're here to prove today, is to get an exact number of what that is. So it's important that, the important factors are that you have this data available to the standards engineers at the utility companies, but what's most important is that this data is backed up by third-party testing, and that's what we do. Now this is an example of just one of the tests that we put the product through, and it measures compression load and strain and density. So from that, we derive these numbers, and it enables us to put forth a comparative quality between our product and others that are on the market. So that wraps up the intro. What we want to do now is we have product from both companies, brand new product from both companies, and they've been conditioned in a warm room since today the outside temperature is about 23 degrees. So it's very important that when you're doing these tests, you do an apples to apples test, and that would mean that number one, you have to do the test at within the testing parameters for product temperature and ambient temperature. So the ambient temperature in the warm room is 68 to 70 degrees, and the ambient temperature for the product will be 68 to 70 degrees for both products. So those characteristics of the foam will be identical. There's also a need to parallel mixing time. So each product will be mixed approximately 30 seconds, as is the instructions from both products, and we will make sure that test is followed. So we want to do everything as closely as possible to the parameters that are set forth by the manufacturer, so that there is no favoritism between one product or another. So let's go see where the chips fall, and it's going to be a fun day. Let's do it. Okay, we've made the transition into our warm room. This is where we've kept the product overnight. The ambient temperature in the room is approximately 71 degrees. And this is our mold that we're going to use. This is 20 inches by 20 inches. It's a rigid mold. We are going to mix up the product, and we're going to pour it in here. It will then be able to free rise, and with that, we will be able to get an accurate estimation of how much expansion we have. So the test is going to be conducted with several kit sizes. We're going to start with a Secure Set 2.5 gallon kit, and then we are going to do a BMK 3 gallon kit, and then we will do a Secure Set 3 gallon kit. So here's the 3 gallon kit right here, the 2.5 gallon kit right here. And what's important is that make sure that we get a temperature reading on the product. And let's see, switch this back to Fahrenheit. And right now, temperature is 71.3 degrees. So we're in good shape. Actually, that's actually excellent. And that's going to be a good test sample for it. So Isidro, if you'll come and do the mechanics of it. It's very simple, like all products. Basically, you take the A and B component, you pour it into the pail, and take a little bit of time when you're pouring the B side, because we want to make sure that we get as much product out of it as possible to get the fairest test. I'll hold that while you do the other one, and just let it drain in. Here we go. Now we're going to add the A side. We're going to mix this for about 30 seconds. I'm going to do it on a stopwatch on my phone. Here we go. I'll put these over here. And I'll get my phone set up. There we go. Okay. And stopwatch. Okay. It's either you tell me when you're ready. Okay, go. 30 seconds. That's good. That's good. Very good. Well mixed. No marbling or... Okay, we're at a minute and 10 seconds after, from the beginning of the mixing. And we're starting to get some reaction. Normally, from the time you start the mixing to the time it's fully expanded and set without any stickiness to the touch is about 4 minutes. And we'll test it here with it's a little bit sticky still, so it's not quite set. Still a little sticky at 3 minutes and 40. And now, okay, 4 minutes, basically. 4 minutes and 3 seconds it'll be. So that's a good test. I believe the expansion phase is complete. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this sample from the form, set another box in there, and then we will do the BMK, and then we'll do, which is a 3-gallon kit, and then we'll do the GRA Secure Set 3-gallon kit. So that's the conclusion of phase 1 of this test. Okay, the second phase of the test is going to be to mix up and test a BMK 3-gallon kit. Now this kit was in the warm room, similar to our products. What we're going to do is we're going to get a temperature on their product, just like we did. Let's see here, what do we got? It looks like 69.9, 70, 70.1. So it's perfect. Excellent temperature. Now, as their product is used in the field, we're going to use their box, which is how they do it. Okay, let's get started and see how the test goes. Very good. Okay, that's the B side. Yep. So, product temperature is 70 degrees, perfect. And I'll hold this up for you while you pour in the A side. Again, this is their B component, and we're filling up the A side. Per their instructions, 30-second is exactly what we did with Secure Set. So we'll have similar mixing times, and we are, stop here, go. 28, 30. Very good.
Is that on?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're at 1 minute from start of mixing. And again, these should take between 4 to 5 minutes of rise time to get to their full set height. So we're getting some good reaction now, coming up quite strongly. And we're at getting close to 4 minutes, very similar to the Secure Set. I think we're getting close to the end of the expansion, but that certainly won't be the tack-free time. We're at 4 minutes and 10 seconds right now. So we're there. 4 minutes and 45 seconds. We've got full expansion, and that is the BMK 3-gallon kit. We've got one more test to do. It will be the Secure Set 3-gallon. So that concludes this phase of this test. So this is going to be a test between two kit sizes. This is going to be Secure Set 3-gallon kit versus a BMK 3-gallon kit. And we know the parameters, or basically the data that is published on both of these kit sizes, except for expansion. So we're going to qualify the expansion for the BMK kit as long and in the comparison with the Secure Set. Again, most important, we have to make sure that we have temperature, and again the temperature in the room was right around 69 to 70, and we're at 68, 68.5, 69, 70.1. That's perfect. Okay, so temperature is exact. Got that finalized. So let's start the test. We'll go ahead, we'll pour in the components into the containers. Here we go. Okay, I'll hold that up. Okay, very good. Put these off to the side. Ready? And away we go. Go. 20 seconds. 25. 28. 30. Excellent. All right. So again, in the 4 to 5 minute range. So again, what we're trying to accomplish is to see what the value is as far as how much expansion you get out of each product when you buy the same size kit. So 3-gallon versus 3-gallon. We're getting close to the top of the expansion. We're at 2 minutes and 45 seconds. So probably a tack-free condition will be at about 4 minutes. 4 minutes and 30 seconds, and we're good to go. So in the comparison, basically the rise time was the same. We will demold these and we'll take a look at what the expansion was. Well, hello, we're back. And as you can see, different shirt on, primarily because it has been 2 weeks since we did our test. And there's a reason for that. Number one, we have the characteristics of each foam. We have density, compression, expansion. But one thing that's really important is stability. When you pour a sample as large as these, one of the things that you're going to get is a pretty good exothermic rise, probably to about 322 degrees Fahrenheit. And then you take a long dissipation of the heat that takes 24 to 48 hours. And in that time, if there's anything in error with the foam, you will get shrinkage. Now, shrinkage shows up on these cardboard boxes in two forms. Number one, if it had shrunk, if any of these samples had shrunk, these boxes would pull into an hourglass shape. Now, as you can see, each one of the samples, it looks very stable. The other indication of shrinkage is a split or crack on the top of the foam. That did not happen. So from that perspective, we will have to say that stability for BMK and stability for Secure Set is confirmed. Now, how do we get to the numbers for expansion and cubic feet? What you do is you take a level, and basically you'll be able to measure vertically from the edge of the level down to the floor. That'll give you your vertical height. We already know that we're starting with a 20 by 20 inch mold or box. So the three numbers that we'll have will be length, width, and height. Let's go down here to the 2.5 gallon, for example. This was the first sample that we tested. When it was fully cured and we measured it, of course we start out with a 20 by 20 mold, and this rose to 27 inches of vertical height. That gives us 10,800 cubic inches. Now divide that by 1728 and you get 6.25 cubic feet. Now, in order to determine expansion, you know that there are 7.48 gallons of anything in a cubic foot. So you take 6.25 times 7.48 and you get, for this example, you get 46.15 gallons of product. And we know we started with 2.5, so you divide that by 2.5. And this sample yielded an 18.7 to 1 expansion ratio. So 6.25 cubic feet, 18.7 to 1 expansion. BMK, again, we did the same thing. This is their 3-gallon kit. We did, as you saw in the test, everything was mixed the same, temperature control, and of course we've had these in storage for 2 weeks so that we can determine stability. It's very stable, as you can see. So this measured 20 by 20 by 29.625 inches. With that, you get 11,850 cubic inches, so it equates to 6.85 cubic feet. So 6.85 cubic feet times 7.48, 51.29. This product yielded 17.09 to 1 expansion ratio. So we finally determined what their expansion is. And their expansion is 17.09 to 1 expansion ratio. Now our 3-gallon kit, this is the Secure Set 3-gallon kit. Again, mixed, poured, allowed to sit and be stable. The measurements yielded that this was a 20 by 20 by 32.5, which yielded 13,000 cubic inches. Of course, divide that by 1728, and you get 7.52 cubic feet times 7.48. We have 56.2731 gallons, or an 18.75 to 1 expansion ratio. 7.52 cubic feet, 18.75 to 1 expansion. Now here's what we like to point out. In our literature, we specify that our 2.5 gallon kit will yield you at minimum 6 cubic feet of foam. We also say that our 3-gallon kit will give you 7.25 cubic feet of foam. What we have consistently identified is that with very similar expansion ratios for the two kit sizes, the 2.5 gallon yields 6.25, so a little boost over the 6.0, and the 3-gallon kit will give you 7.52, and we advertise or specify that it'll give you at least 7.2 cubic feet. So from that perspective, with a review of everything that we've looked at today. You know, we started out looking at density, compression strength, expansion, and then finally stability. So in a direct comparison, the density between the two foams, very similar. Compression strength, 103.5 psi to 80. When you do it by percentage, that's a 25% increase in the compression strength. Remember, higher compression strength gives you better load resistance or bending resistance on the pole when the pole comes under a wind load. So the higher the compression strength of the product at baseline, it will give you a greater resistance to the pole leaning or bending over. Expansion, 17.09 to 1 versus basically 18 to 1. So, and of course, both products very stable. So, in a final review, what we at GR Services like to do, we really like to under-promise but over-perform. And that's what we've been able to show you here, is that we tell you the 2.5 will give you 6 cubic feet. You can count on about 6.25, and that the 3 gallon will give you 7.2 cubic feet, and it'll yield about 7.5. There are some advantages also to SecureSet in the form of packaging that we have. You know, we send ours out in, as you saw in the first half of the video, in black plastic pails with the twin jugs inside, very compact. Density on the pallet, there's 64 to a pallet. BMK packages theirs in a cardboard box. Some field representatives have said that sometimes when it's left to the elements, the cardboard sometimes gets damaged, and it's just not as robust as the packaging is for the SecureSet. So we think we have an advantage in the technical side. We have an advantage in packaging. We also have an advantage in logistics. When you have allocated space in a warehouse, one pallet position can be given to so many different kits. Again, 64 kits per pallet. I believe the BMK is 42. So we have a significant advantage that you don't need as many pallet spaces in the warehouse to store more product from SecureSet. So all in all, I want to thank you for listening and going through this test with us. We started out 2 weeks ago, did some very good testing on a very cold day, but again, as you saw, we were in a temperature controlled room, so all factors were equal. Product temperature, ambient temperature in the room, mixing time, consistent size of the molds. We wanted to do everything truly as equal as possible in order to show you the advantages that SecureSet has over one of the competitive products on the market. Thank you very much. Making your decision. I hope you choose SecureSet.